listening to Peak One Sports.
Bungalow Sports Show. I am Cole James Rambo. That is Joey. That is Alexis. We just got finished watching UFC 291. We did our first Bungalow Fight Night Live. We announced the name of our new MMA podcast, which will be the Bungalow Fight Show, coming to you every Thursday.
That's what everybody voted for?
Bungalow Fight Show?
Whoa, where were you?
Did you miss that whole conversation?
First of all, I was in EXO Jazz's.
You were. Yeah.
However, that's what we voted on, dude. I voted 12-6 every time.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, but overwhelmingly people voted for Bungalow Fight Show.
You hold a special place in my
heart. It was a great name. I thought it was hilarious. It was great.
Yeah, so Joey's out of the loop. But yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of an abbreviated show probably because we just did 3 hours live basically, but we want to nail this one out for Monday.
And if you guys tuned in,
Joey doesn't want to come back on tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
If you guys tuned in to the live, amazing. Thank you for being there.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
You know,
we're going to try to do that more often. That was a blast. I had a blast. We had a good turnout, got some new numbers up, got the numbers up for the
suits,
the subscribers, the likes, the followers, everybody. So yeah, this is the Bungalow Sports Show. Yeah. And let's see, brought to you by Betalytics, brought to you by League Swipe.
Promo code PEAK1.
As always,
25% off for Betalytics.
Hell yeah. Go get in the mix. We just bet some money. Some people won.
Yeah, don't bet what you got.
Some people didn't.
Use them Betalytics.
I'm one of the folks who didn't win.
Unless you bet only MMA, then listen to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Tune into the Bungalow Fight Show.
Right. Well, I guess since we're right off the bat, we might as well get in and recap what we just watched. It was a great fight card.
I thought it was pretty good.
There was one stinker, which was Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. That was a stinker of a fight. But the outcome was just positive for my parlay.
Just Jan just
bad
there,
judging.
just whispering in his ear.
Right. But Justin Gaethje wins the main event by head kick knockout. That was intense.
Dude, like, literally, I thought Justin Gaethje would only win that by decision.
I did not expect that. I expected it to just be a back and forth war.
Yeah, and it was. And it was
somebody,
for a little bit there, but
I was expecting it to go into the fourth round,
Yeah.
and one of them gets TKO'd or something like that, bloodied up, and just somebody. But
so does Gaethje now become number 2, and Poirier is now number 3?
well, I mean, technically, but
right? Yeah.
I mean, it's up to the whoever votes on that bullshit.
But he's gonna go up against fucking Charles Oliveira or fucking Makhachev.
So it doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot to say about it. It was a good card.
Any of those guys versus Makhachev, not Oliveira, but Makhachev.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a good fight.
Tony Ferguson went to sleep.
Tony Ferguson went to sleep in a brutal chokeout. That they should have stopped that when his feet started flailing. Like
they picked him up, brought him to bed, pulled the covers over, and put the pillow over his face.
Like
it was horrible.
How could you be part of the team? Well, he's not with them anymore, but like you're part of 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like literally the successors after the Gracie.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You have this insane rubber guard,
and you get choked out with an arm triangle.
And you get choked out with the arm triangle, like
against Bobby Green,
who's not even. He might be like maybe a green belt, or like a blue belt, purple belt, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And then before that, to not only lose to that, but then just get
Bobby Green is a green belt,
not a green belt, but like purple belt. That's what I was talking about.
He had him on the ground, and he's just like you said, every hammer fist that he threw
landed
connected to his face every single time. Like Tony ate every shot that was thrown at him.
Tony needs to hang him up if that's his prime. He said earlier this week that he's in his prime. And
fights in the title.
Coming out into the first, he looked really great, and then took an eye poke, and
it changed the whole complexion of the whole fight.
Everything. So,
Derek Lewis and his 6-pack, big knockout.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! That was the
came
biggest
out with
win
the
of
flying
night
knee.
right
that was
there.
the moment of the night, I think.
Yeah,
for
sure.
that was the highlight of the night for the live show was Derek Lewis's big knockout. Yeah, all good card all the way around. I hope you guys tuned in. I hope you tuned into our live broadcast. If not, you'll be able to catch it on replay on Peak One Sports, and you can sync it up to the replay of UFC 291.
Yeah.
Some other 291 related stuff before the card this week. Earlier this week, the Golden Snitch Jeff Nowitzki honored Dustin Poirier for 75 clean USADA drug tests.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah, I would have thought he'd been tested more over the time, but yeah, that's I mean, good for you.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's a weird world when we're giving out congratulations for passing drug tests. Like congratulations.
I remember
Yeah.
there was a like social media post like maybe years back saying like Holly Holm got tested like 80 like 65 like close to that number.
Yeah,
And
a lot of people with good physiques are getting tested a lot.
Hiri Prohaska
Right.
as well.
Well,
like up in the
Here's
up in
a
the 50s
statistic
range.
for you for people who think that MMA is such a dirty sport when it comes to PEDs and things like that. Statistic, and I like that they use TJ Dillashaw as the picture on this infographic. 1% positive PED tests in nearly 30,000 tests performed by USADA. Less than 1% of UFC athletes tested positive.
Wow.
What's that actual number? Because like 30
1% of 30,000.
30,000.
So that would be 3,000? No.
no,
that
less
would be
than 1%. So that could be like maybe
300?
like 400, 500
times.
in the hundreds range. Even in the thousands, that could be that way.
This math cast. What do you know, math?
No, I was just laughing.
You son of a
No,
bitch.
You're like,
you know, math. Math.
Yeah, but like 1% could be
More
it's
math.
in the 100 range. In the
Yeah.
100 range.
Yeah, so it's not. It's probably one of the cleanest sports when you look at it,
it
like
is
that.
300.
300. That was one of the numbers I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job.
took a second.
That was definitely one of the numbers I said.
I inflated it. I'll
You're
I'll
good.
own that.
No, you're good. It was
I'll
just
own
funny
that.
to watch him like try to like, what?
Yeah, up and down. But go
But
ahead.
PFL would be like probably like. maybe-
Oh yeah,
maybe like
those are just
5%,
UFC
something
tests.
like
That is not
yeah.
MMA across the board. The PFL is a juice factory.
Yeah.
They're melting piss cups all over the place.
Fuck yeah.
What else did we have? We had Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Same thing on Saturday night, and Terrence Crawford freaking ended it
Starts in
in
the
the
ninth
round.
in the 9th round, and that's probably up there with like the anticipation of like a Pacquiao Mayweather fight. They're always, that's like the MO of boxing is always get these fights you want to see, talk about it for a decade, and then finally happen when it's too late. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? Congrats to the finish because honestly, like that's what you want to see
In boxing, especially because
you want to see
rare.
like the top of the top, like goat versus goat, or
Right.
who's gonna
Yeah,
be
you
the
wanna
goat,
see
right?
who
You want
the
to see
goat
who's
is.
gonna finish. You don't want to see it to go to decision,
Right.
No.
You don't want to see like it maybe dragged on for a couple other fights.
right.
So yeah, fucking hats off to Terrence Crawford, man.
Yeah, great
Nice,
job,
man.
Terrence Crawford. And then, I just saw the clip. I forgot Derek Lewis took his pants off.
My
Look at
balls
that.
was hot.
Dude, this was such a fun night.
Oh yeah, it was
I can't
fun.
believe that it took so long to do this. It's just like it's like we were made to do this.
It was
boys.
fun, man. I really enjoy being here at Lexus, man.
Any
You know,
other
like-
fight topic talks we should? I'm
Well,
kind of like
there's like-
I'm
there-
racking my brain, but I'm like I'm kind of fight out in.
There is
after the
what
last
is it
2 hours.
the Sean Strickland Israel Adesanya
Oh, yeah.
That's off, yeah, or
technically it's off.
technically off,
They haven't. Sean Strickland's asking for more money.
right?
I think that's very reasonable.
Well, sure, but UFC's not very responsive to giving people more money when they ask for it.
I think like in his case, I think it's just justifiable.
Oh, sure.
Like say
I think it's justifiable anytime
let's bring it
anybody
back
has a title
to
shot.
Ngannou, right? So if you talk about Ngannou fought, but he doesn't fight that much, right?
Right.
When's the last time we've seen Sean Strickland fight? Before this, he fought Jared Cannonier. He fought who else? Alex Pereira. Yeah, like within like
months,
15 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, yeah, there's some negotiation rooms. So like,
Right, and it's something that I feel like he's owed, if not just for fighting for the title and should get more money for fighting for a title, but also what he's done for the UFC, stepping up like that and fighting these guys who were just
when you're a company man, you should get
going out and just volunteering
rewards.
to get starched by Alex Pereira is not an easy thing to do.
Although, like, honestly, like with Sean Strickland, like he did go to my buddy's gym and like fucking knock out somebody.
Yeah.
And it was like really in really bad fashion. And I was like, fuck that guy, but like,
right.
Yes, like you're doing what you should be doing. Like,
right.
I'm gonna back you up on that, even though I don't like you or whatever.
Right.
And I think you're a good fighter, but you know he had every right to do that. So like, hats off to Sean Strickland. UFC, make your move, like, cause
right.
Like,
I mean,
we all want that fight, like,
yeah.
And I think like,
there's no reason not to. They should try to make every fight for anybody who is up in the rankings who hasn't fought Izzy yet. Should, and they're on a winning streak, should be able to.
He has a very good chance of beating him.
You know what I mean? Like
that could be very.
But it's and also too is just like redundancy. Like we've seen all these weight classes with dominant champions, but they're full of rematches and shit. You know what I mean? It's the same guys fighting over and over again. So it's like at this point in middleweight, Alex Pereira moved up to light heavyweight. So now let's just line up everybody in the top 10 who hasn't fought Izzy yet and let him fight him. You know what I mean? Like, let's just line them up and see. And if he can take them all out, then you're the greatest middleweight, possibly the greatest UFC guy of all time. If you can take out the entire top 15 of your weight class.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I think he can do it. But is the UFC going to make these fights? Because obviously they're all about numbers. So once you get up above number 5, then you're talking about not getting very big pay-per-view numbers. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's all a business thing.
Yeah, he's still ranked number 6.
Yeah.
I think they're still pulling that.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Strickland.
But I think Sean Strickland has numbers, like the way his antics, his
right. Whether it's people who want to see him get knocked out or people that want to see him win, he's bringing numbers either way.
Like try that in a small town. Like he's that dude. He's that dude.
They should fight in a small town.
Oh, yeah, should fight in a small town for sure.
Don't kick your camera, Joey.
Sorry, dude.
It's okay. It's late. I'll forgive you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about fights. Let's move on to let's move into some hockey. I've got some little hockey things here, Joseph.
I got something I want to say.
What do you got?
Senators signed former Ranger Vladimir
Tarasenko.
Tarasenko.
That was on my list.
That was an interesting pickup, I mean, not interesting because he's a great player.
Well, we've been anticipating him getting moved at any moment.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of there was a lot of teams on the list of people vying for his services because he's a great player.
I think what interests me the most was the contract, dude. $5 million for 1 year.
I know because
he's definitely like a $10 million.
Well, but see, so you got to look at it from Ottawa's side. They've still got they've got Brady Tkachuk, right? They just got rid of DeBrincat, who's in Detroit now.
Yeah.
So it's like obvious if they're thinking that they're going to be in the mix, they had to sign some more offensive pressure. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so obviously, good on them. They won the raffle or whatever. But it's odd to me from like a Tarasenko move, especially since it's but that's why it's a 1 year contract, right? He's like, if you guys suck ass, I'm going somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because the Ottawa, they suck. Like
and he has in his career he has 6 times where he scored over 30 goals in a season. So he's top. He's gonna put up numbers for these guys.
He's top 5 NHL player. He is top 5 NHL player. I mean,
top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Tarasenko
top 15.
30 goals,
35 at the most.
30 stringing together 30 goal seasons like that is that's not by accident. You know what I mean? So, but I just don't think. I mean, and do people really think Ottawa's a contender? You know what I mean?
No, but I think, they're making moves now, and
but why would I'm talking from Tarasenko's side. Why would he go there? Like, is it just because he's like, well, fuck it, they're gonna give me the most money for 1 year, and then I can go to a contender after that?
That is interesting because he probably could have went to a lower production.
He could have taken less money and went to somewhere that was gonna possibly win a Stanley Cup. You know what I mean? I just don't.
But I mean, he's won it a couple of times with, or not a couple, but he's won it with the Blues already. I mean, does he really need to?
Yeah, but cup's a cup, bro. Like if you're,
I mean, I would chase money.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think that's what it is? Did they just flat out offered him more for 1 year of services than anybody else?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's interesting. I guess we should talk to Sports Biz about this because, like, you know that there's more people grabbing at him.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean. And so
anybody
for a $5 million for 1 year.
Anybody who is a cup contender, or anybody who was like a couple pieces away from being a cup contender, was trying to get their hands on Tarasenko.
Yeah,
right, because he's one of those guys where you just add him to a team that was already right there, and that kind of puts you over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going to Ottawa is just such. There must have just been money.
I guess so. Yeah.
Because you think Vladimir Tarasenko is sitting at home going like, every team wants to sign me. But Ottawa's where I'm going.
If you don't know, Alexis, Ottawa is...
Oh, no, I know Ottawa Senators are terrible.
And they're on my shit list right now because there was a chance that they were going to be bought by Snoop Dogg
and they were
this offseason.
No.
And they weren't. They didn't choose Snoop Dogg.
I know as much with, like, hockey, like, the Kraken and Senators are, like, bottom tier.
Kraken were good this year.
Oh, they were?
They were not good in their inaugural season.
My betting thing, they lost their goalie and they really fucking took a dive.
So
around 2021, like that's when they were like fucking laughing stock.
So here's the thing. Vegas kind of set the bar for people. I mean, for expansion teams, because when they came in, a shit ton of class players were on a free agency. So they had their pick of the litter of amazing people who were captains, alternates.
Yeah, like basically.
Stuff.
So what they do, they changed when Las Vegas became a team. So Las Vegas and Seattle, the Kraken, are both the two newest teams, right? Vegas comes in 6 years ago. They changed the rules of the expansion draft.
Yeah.
Right, which gave them the opportunity to be competitive much faster than former expansion teams, i.e. The Atlanta Thrashers, i.e. other teams that aren't around anymore. So within 6 years, Vegas wins a cup, right? Within 2 years, the Kraken almost make it to the conference finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Vegas has been a contender since their inaugural season, though. You know what I mean? And so,
but that's what I'm saying is, like, Tarasenko, if there was any thought in his head of winning a cup, he'd have been better fit on the Kraken.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know what I mean?
But if they're not throwing a contract his way, why would?
No,
I
get that, but
so you know, I mean, that's
it's all money.
It's just like it just really didn't make sense to me, you know. So like because if he's definitely not he's worth way more than $5 million. You know what I mean?
Okay. When you're not from Ottawa, who the fuck wants to play in Ottawa?
Exactly. So
that's his whole thing. Like he's probably like taking the short contract so he can move around a lot.
And that's what I'm saying. They're giving me $5 million. Everybody offered me $3 million a year. They're giving me $5 for one, and I can move next year if I want to.
Yeah. So like just to touch on what we were talking about earlier though, like Vegas set the bar right for inaugural seasons.
Oh, I knew about Vegas being like a
Seattle
manufacturing team and all
trash
stuff.
When they first came back out. I mean, they were not very good, but they definitely stepped it up this year, dude. And I think they made it to the second round. They're taking out in the second round of playoffs, so they were looking pretty good for
moving to the East Coast. One of my favorite teams to just think about being bad, and that's the Boston Bruins.
Oh yeah,
I love to think about them being bad.
And they lost
I want to I got a little infographic here, and this is the team who won last season. The Boston Bruins won more games than any team in NHL history. They won me some
money,
like over 60 games.
They won over 60 games. Yeah, they set a record for most games won in a season. Obviously choked in the playoffs, but
they got knocked out of the playoffs first round by a team who was not supposed to be there.
Yeah, who made the playoffs on the last day of the season. It was a big disappointment, right? Ending that season. You want to know what's a bigger disappointment?
Losing.
Going into your next season, knowing that you don't have Patrice Bergeron, Tyler Bertuzzi, Orlov, Taylor Hall, Foligno, or Hathaway. They lost, like, the main core of their entire team in the offseason. If that doesn't show you, like, this was an all or nothing season for them, and it should have paid off like it did in regular season terms. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Boston's going to be crying hard, and I love it.
Do you think...
I love any time Boston is down bad. Now you got the Patriots, and they suck. You got the Bruins, and they're going to suck. The Red Sox suck. The Celtics, like, they don't suck.
The Cubs, right? Cubs, Boston. No, it's Chicago. Wow.
We're a sports show, ladies and gentlemen.
God, it's been a long night.
We're a sports show, and the Cubs are now in Boston.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Cubs suck. Because I do watch baseball.
No, but do you think Bergeron? Because people were kind of talking about that when they lost, right? At how emotional he was during that.
Well, because he knew he was going to retire.
So, yeah, so that's my question: is do you think everyone else knew? You know, as in like the Bruins organization, because they made these moves of getting these players out of there before he even announced.
I think it's a thought. Anytime you got a guy that's at a certain age and at a certain amount of money already, you know.
Can you imagine he turned it in and the general manager's just like, fuck! Why did we trade all these guys, dude?
There's no stipulations like for like in football, like the worst team in the league gets first draft pick or whatever.
So in hockey, they do a lottery like basketball, where the bottom 15, 16 are in like a raffle, and then there's certain teams that are eligible for pick number 1. There's certain teams that are eligible for pick. So it's like basically like a lottery ball situation.
That's too much of a gamble,
16
man.
because there's 32 teams. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, so the bottom half go into a raffle, and the worst teams basically have like more balls in the
That's why a lot of people thought that the Sharks were tanking this year so that we could get worse.
Right.
So
that's why it brings up the conspiracy theories of that. Like this year we had Connor Bedard. He was like a generational pick, you know, and there was teams like Anaheim and San Jose and Arizona, and teams that like we thought that were real bad, really, and it was like, player, damn, dude, he's gonna go to one of these teams finally, and then oh no, Chicago gets him.
Chicago,
and it's like I wouldn't put it past Gary Bettman just dumped a few extra Chicago balls in the mix, you know?
Yeah. That's still too much. That's still too much of a gamble.
But shout out to Boston for
sucking. Yeah, shout out to Boston. Shout out to Patrice Bergeron for an amazing career.
Yeah, but Loki goat, Heike goat.
Patrice Bergeron? I mean, a Boston goat for sure. No, fuck him. He's a Bruin. But with him retiring, here's an interesting little stat. There are now only 3 active players in the league who have been there since before the 04-05 lockout.
Wow.
And those players are Eric Stahl, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Brent Burns.
Hey, shout out, dude.
Isn't it crazy to think Brent Burns has been playing longer in the NHL since freaking 2004?
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Makes me feel so old, dude.
Wait, is Jumbo not a part of the active roster?
Jumbo retired. He's done.
Is he really?
Yeah. Jumbo's retired. On my EA NHL Dynasty, I just hired him as my head coach.
Dude, you even have the little coach.
You know who my assistant coach is? Ryan Getzlaff.
Shut up.
Yeah, I've been hiring all. That's what's cool about the new update in the franchise thing is when players retire, some of them become coaches in the game.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty tight, dude. So
nice.
We should just start a podcast where I just talk about my video game sports.
This week we took it real deep to the Seattle Kraken. I got some quickies.
We're not to the quickies yet, Joey. It's not your turn yet. We got to talk about football. We got to talk about the running backs.
This is football.
Okay, well, it's not your turn yet. I haven't said quickies yet.
Sorry.
You're sitting on the couch and you forget how the show works.
You're embarrassing me in front of Alexis.
Okay,
dude.
so do you guys like? Okay, so like, last year was my first year of like betting on football. Like I explained to you, right. I had a lot of success in the preseason, but then when the actual season came out, fucking tanked everything.
Well, that's because like the beginning of the football season is just like a crapshoot because there's going to be real quick injuries because it's going to bodies are frozen, and then they go out there and do these quick football moves, and knees explode and quads explode and hamstrings explode real quick.
Does everybody like play their hardest in preseason to like?
No, so preseason football is until the last game of preseason. Yeah, you're not seeing anybody that's really going to be on the active roster.
Okay.
You're seeing mostly guys who are going to be backups, bench.
Okay,
and then so first game you ain't seeing no starters. Second game you'll see starters for a quarter. Third game you'll see starters for a half. Fourth game you'll see starters for 3 quarters. Things like that, right? So preseason has no bearing on what the season's going to look like for any individual team because it's all who's going to be our backups, basically, who's going to make the roster. And so then you get these guys, these starters who haven't played a lot throughout the preseason, and that's why you get teams whose makeup going into the season, oh, shit, the Giants are going to be the shit. Saquon signed a new contract. They're going to do it. But then game 2, Saquon blows his fucking hamstring out and he's out for the season, changes the whole complexion of that team. Like, football is one of those games where one guy can change, losing one player can change your whole thing, because there's certain guys on certain teams where another team's defense is completely built around containing that one guy.
Okay.
So if you take that person out of the mix, it changes the whole dynamic of everything, right?
That makes a lot of sense, because I was just looking at like numbers. Like, you have to look at numbers and then what's actually happening.
So like football betting is like real scary until like week 5 or 6 when you've got the freak injuries out, you've got teams that are winning, you got the fluke teams that are gonna suck but they won three games in a row. Holy shit, the Browns are undefeated, they're 3-0. Fast forward and they're fucking 9-8 or
where they belong.
Because I remember like the Jets went on a tear like preseason.
Right. It happens. It happens.
Preseason, I was like fucking Jets.
But
and all
in
that
the
stuff,
football rank,
taking their plus money and all that stuff, and then
just know that the Jets means toilet.
We've been,
like
we've had.
I figured that out really quick.
We've had tons of running back drama over the last couple weeks because it's a position that's going in a real transitional phase, because Joey and I talked about this a little bit last week. I think we did. And it's like the running backs, they're not getting contracts, right? Because like owners are like, okay, it's like the shortest lifespan position because you get hit every play, whether you're blocking, whether you're running, you get fucking smashed every play, right? So short lifespan. It's an explosive position. So those players' joints tend to go out faster because it's all explosive movements and things like that. So like teams are starting to get to where the way the contracts work is your rookie contract's usually 3 years, right? So you show out, your job as a rookie for that 3 years is to show out as much as you can. So when you get to sign that first contract, non-rookie contract, you get the big bucks. But now, after 3 years, the average running back lifespan is 4 years.
Yeah.
So teams are like, fuck that. We'll just get 3 running backs, have one that catches, one that runs, and one that blocks, and we'll pay them all. Then all 3 salaries won't add up to one Saquon Barkley or one Josh Jacobs, right? So it's a completely financial decision, and basically you've got literally some of the best football players ever. Yeah, Derrick Henry. You've got these guys, generational running back. Derrick Henry is a fucking free agent right now, and we're a few weeks out from the season because he's going to have to get paid a lot of money. But nobody, even though he's a great running back, it's like maybe this is the year you take a shit,
right?
And then we give you fucking $20 million, like no,
maybe that's good for like up and coming people, right?
Well,
you get more niche. Like,
so that's what happened. Kind of last year. That's what happened is that teams were starting to play off of that. This guy's our catching running back. This guy's our this. Having different backs for different play sets rather than having this one outstanding superstar that can do it all, right?
Yeah.
Because then if everything's riding on that guy, he gets injured, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
At least if you're running that whole 3 running back scheme. Even though they're all specialized for certain situations,
2 other options,
if one gets injured, you still got 2 guys that can fill it.
And all 3 of their salaries is probably not going to make up for that one person.
100%.
So you can spend extra on quarterback.
Well, right now it won't make up that way, but later on it will.
So last week, the running backs had like this, like a bunch of NFL running backs had like this Zoom call. They had like a meeting, like a summit meeting.
We're just not gonna do it.
And literally, like hours after the meeting, Saquon Barkley signed a fucking deal. And the thing is so in football they have a thing called franchise tag, where it kind of defers a contract negotiation with somebody who wants more money. But what it is I think the franchise tag amount is based on, I want to say, like the average of that position's salary, right? So this year the franchise tag is like 10 million or somewhere at 10 point something, all right? So using Saquon Barkley in his example, rather he didn't want to take the franchise tag, didn't want that 10 million, he wanted a new contract, right? This whole hullabaloo starts, all the running backs are striking, guys are leaving camp, not showing up to camp. Saquon Barkley signs a fucking contract for 1 year, $11.1 million is what he ended up signing. So he only, for $1 million.
Yeah.
Which, trust me, if anyone wanted to give me an extra $1 million, I'd take it. But I'm saying in the place where you're fighting for, a week ago you were out there fighting for this whole position. It was bigger than you. It was how the running backs are viewed in football contracts, and then you go out and just sign one for just $1 million more.
Yeah, like, but I mean, what are you gonna? Maybe he's looking at it and saying, okay, no one else is gonna pay me the money.
I totally understand that.
So it's like,
but why go out there and make a big deal out of it and have this summit meeting and make all these?
Hoping that it would make change, right? I mean, and initially, that's what I would assume is like, hey, if we all band together as if they're a union, right? We're gonna band together.
Which is funny because they do have a union, but I'm just called the NFL Players Association.
But he just like, we're trying to make something better, and he's like, fuck it, it's not gonna get better.
I've heard some ideas.
He was the first one to jump ship.
Of like make the running back make the running back contract rookie contract 1 year rather than 3, so it gives them an opportunity to come out and have a good year and then sign it. You know, it because like I said, the average lifespan, if it's the same amount as a rookie contract, why would anybody sign? So if you're paying somebody $5 million for 3 years or whatever the rookie contract is on that 4th year, why are you going to give them 20?
Just go play arena football.
XFL.
Hot takes from
Get
Joey
out of the
on
show.
the Bungalow Sports
Get
Show.
out of the show if you can't deal with it.
That's all the football talk we got.
You can't take
all right,
the heat. Get out of the kitchen.
It's time for Joey's quickies. What kind of quickies you got?
Can I go now?
Yeah, I said it.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I said it was time now.
Your boy Travis Kelce.
I love him.
Throwing hands at practice, dude.
With who?
Jack Cochran.
Okay.
Backup linebacker.
Yeah.
Threw a left-handed punch.
Why wasn't that on UFC?
Backup linebacker, Jack Cochran, in Saturday's practice.
Oh, I love football fights. It happens all the time, yeah.
And earlier, but it's his own teammate.
Yeah, it happens in practice.
A day earlier, he got into a shoving match with backup cornerback DiCaprio Boodle.
So this is, okay, salacious, whatever, but this is very...
Is he the captain?
But this is very common in football, all right? Because in practice, who are you practicing against?
Your own team.
Your own defense, right? So he's a tight end. He blocks. He's the best catching tight end of all time, whatever, yards after catch master.
I bet that ends tight, boy.
So you're in practice, things are getting heated. Somebody gives you a little chop block, somebody throws you to, somebody does something, you got to box them up a little bit. It's all right, Kels.
Not when you're the captain.
But hey,
yeah, you got to show them what's up. You got to lead by example. Sock that fool.
He even said himself he needs to lead by example, dude.
Lead with that right, dude.
But he threw a left.
But it's other dude doing like
that was his mistake.
Doing like what could possibly happen in the play.
What do you mean?
The other dude doing what can possibly happen in the play.
Wait, I'm totally confused at what you're saying.
Yeah, like, why is he getting heated? Like,
oh, well, so it's like they're doing reps, right? So football practices, they're just doing the same play over and over and over again against each other, and just frustrations get heavy. They got helmets on. Who cares about punching?
So no one's like fucking going to the game plan and all that stuff?
You know what the thing is,
like,
dude?
He's like whipping someone into shape?
No, he's punching the guy who's defending him.
Right.
So it's a cornerback,
like
it's a
what I said, like
so he's going out there, he's running his routes. These guys are holding. They're throwing.
Defender's doing something that could possibly happen in the game, and he's getting
just
mad
getting
about
frustrated.
It. Okay.
Yeah, no, it could be something as simple as like he's not making his play 3 times in a row, and he
don't besmirch Kelce on this podcast.
I'm just saying, dude, if you're gonna be, what type of a leader?
Don't you got that? That's the whole point of practice, right?
Well, here's my problem. Everyone was getting mad at Tom Brady when he was throwing footballs at people.
Use your hands, Tom.
Because they didn't like it. Now all of a sudden it's okay because Travis Kelce is throwing hands at people.
Throwing a football at somebody's just rude.
It's better to punch him in the face?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Like, hey, what else do you got? Get your shit strong enough, right? So you can fucking execute your fucking game plan, right? Isn't that what practice is for?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is. But, people get mad.
I'm just saying.
I don't think these guys, not all of them come from a well life that was led, right? Some of them come from less than desirable lives. So
I don't know. I beat myself up regularly, so I do agree some point, but then I think like that's why you do practice.
No, in my opinion, right? If you're a leader of a team, you shouldn't be throwing hands with your own people. I'm just saying. When I was the leader of the Loosey Goosey,
you know what?
When I was the leader of the Loosey Goosey,
that which was never, never.
When I was the leader of the Fiercely Dope. All right, I didn't.
You can take that mantle. Right? You can take that mantle.
This one was just quick. OnlyFans model goes viral after finding out her father spent $6,000 on customs.
That's heavy. I don't know how you recover from that.
That's rough, bud. Right? Like, are you proud? Are you happy that your father?
Your
did that?
dad has spent $6,000 to see your butthole. and see you put stuff in it. Because I got to think if she's making $6,000 on custom, she's doing some.
Can it be a stepdad? Can it be a stepdad?
Is it a stepdad? That's
it just
important.
said dad. It just said dad.
Clickbait.
This one was from Global News Podcast.
Okay.
I didn't go into it.
Okay.
Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey cleared of all sex assault charges.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Shout out to my boy Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Every time I watch Horrible Bosses,
every time you watch K-Pax.
No, I just he's like, such a great actor, dude, and it's hard, you know.
Yeah. It's hard to get young. It's hard to get young boy tail out there without getting accused of sexual assault.
Yep.
Sure. Let's go. Let's get into our shout out. Our shout out today goes out to Hugh the Manatee. He's at the Manatee Sanctuary in I want to say Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Mm-hmm. Hugh the Manatee dies after high intensity sex with brother.
Whoa. Wow.
So shout out, Hugh.
That must have been amazing.
Died doing what you love, banging your brother. And that's the show. Everybody, we love you. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you next week. Guys.